Hani Paulo Imani. I'm co-founder of Africans Unite Business, which is it has three vision. The first one is to establish and push, advocate Swahili as official language of the Africans, all Africans in the continent and outside, which is African diaspora, to be the official language of all Africa when we united. That's the first one. The second one is to teach Africans about our identity, which is almost like to go over and destroy the education we have, education system, which is very much wrong because it's not in our favor. And the third one is about teaching Africans about working ethics, which is another problem we have as Africans. We are not really we are having problem with employment. We're not doing job right. So that is African Unite Business. I'm also co-founder of New Africa Network, which is a place where we meet and discuss African issues and African diaspora as well. Every Saturday at 6 p.m. in Washington time. And finally, I'm also a member of Swahili for Africa, Africa UK movement, which is also to push a little further the Swahili idea and movement. So we believe that the unity of Africa is measured by how many people speak Swahili, because you cannot unite people unless you have means of communication. Now today I'm going to be talking about something really different, but it's almost the same. Who is an African? So now, who is an African? Honestly, this is a very, very important question. We should always ask ourselves before we even think of uniting Africa, because you're not going to be uniting people who you don't even know. And this has become a really problem now, especially when it comes to white people in Zimbabwe and other places in South Africa and everywhere. People don't really know who is an African. They think like anyone can be African and anywhere. Just because you want to be African, you can be African. But today I'm going to break down for you guys so you know exactly who's an African and how you become African. And does not mean that if you are not African, you are enemy of Africa. No, at all. So let's go ahead and start. So who is an African? African is not, to be an African is not based on where you were born. That's one. It's not based on where you were born, or it's not based on the citizen application, which I'm gonna go over a little bit. It's not based on neither of those. So being an African, it is a identity that comes with you based on how you are born, not where you are born. What that means is that you can be born in Africa and still not be African. Does not matter how many generations. You can be born outside of Africa and still be African and a pure African, actually. So that's why I want to go over it quickly. Individual who is born in Africa or has African descendants, which will mean that if you are born in Africa and you're African, there is some of the stuff you need to have, which we'll go over a little bit. The second one is that if you are an African, there is three categories how we can tell who is an African. The first one is born in Africa, which we have a lot of Africans who are born in African continent. And also, if you are African who are born from those who are stolen from Africa, I think sometimes you underestimate how many people were stolen from Africa. But again, there is some on American continent, and there is other ones in the Middle East, all the way to India and other places. And then there is African who is born from immigrants. So immigrants, people who immigrate from Africa to another places. Now, if you are African, born in Africa, and you live in Africa, this is the 5 things you have to have, okay? At least 3 of them. It's not all of them. So if you are born in Africa, you can't be African because a lot of people are cheating. You will see people who came to Africa to invade us, or to colonize us, or to steal from us, or to oppress us, and now they are claiming to be African. So these 5 things will decide if you are African or not. The first one, if you are African, born in Africa and live in Africa, you may need to have a tribe. If you don't have a tribe and you are born in Africa, again, for instance, if you are tribes you have in Africa is Oromo in Ethiopia, Zulu in South Africa, Zayanes in Morocco, Bambara in Mali, Nubia in Egypt and Sudan, or Vivundu in Angola, and so on. So those are tribes. If you are born in Africa, I'm just saying few of them, but it's not all of them. If you are born in Africa, at least you may have, you must have, you may have, it's not all the time, you may have some of these tribes or some kind of tribe. Number B, if you are born in Africa and you're African, live in the continent, you may have or you must have a land that belongs to the tribe you are from. For instance, you have Somaliland, you have Maasai land, you have Kikuyu land, you have Fulani land, Tuareg land. You know, those are the lands that belongs to the tribes, because each tribe has a land where they live. Number 3, if you are African and you are born in Africa, you live in Africa, then you may have a language of your tribe. So if you are born in Africa and live in Africa, you must have a tribe language, which is like Biafra, which like Amharic, which is the language of Amhara, Marba, which is the language of Marba, Gonga, which is Shona, or which is the language of Shona tribe, and so on. So if you are born in Africa, or like Uganda, which is the language of Baganda tribe, and so on. So those are the language of the tribe. If you live in Africa, you are born in Africa, you are African, originate from Africa, you must have, at least you may have that one. Number 4, the last name of your tribe. If you are born in Africa and you are really originate enough from outside as African who originates from Africa, you must have a name of your last name. Sometimes it's not all the time, because some Muslims change story and take Muslim names, but some other places they keep it. For instance, Asema or Tesfa, those are Tigray names. Mwanyonga, Maseule, and so on. Those are Wanyakyusa names. Or Duwole, or Monke, those are Yoruba names, for instance. So if you are from Africa and you live in Africa, you definitely have a last name that belongs to your tribe. And the last one is a kingdom. Is your tribe had a kingdom and culture? Yeah, you should. For instance, if you are from Africa, you will hear about the kingdom of Uganda, kingdom of Zimbabwe, or Zimbabwe, kingdom of Tanzania, and so on, or kingdom of Ghana, kingdom of Aksum, kingdom of Mali, and so on. Those are the 5 things, at least. If you are in Africa and born in Africa as African, you should have at least 2 or 3 of them. Now, if you are this has an exception. Exception will be people from Liberia, Sierra Leone, Haiti, and Jamaica. By the way, I count Jamaicans and Haiti as African. I don't call them African diaspora because they are not. They are on Africa. I count them as Africans outside of diaspora. So if you are from Jamaica, Haiti, Liberia, Sierra Leone, you may don't have the tribe language, you may don't have the tribe land, you may don't have the last name and the kingdom, because people who live in Liberia especially, they repatriated, they come back from American continent, so they don't have, some of them don't have those characteristics. Now, this is warning. On this, Swahili is not accepted to be a tribe language, or is not accepted to be among those languages I said, because there's no such a Swahili kingdom, there's no such a Swahili land, there's no such a Swahili tribe. Okay, so Swahili is not among those requirements. It's not accepted. And be aware, Africana, Arabic, French, Portuguese, English, Italian, and Chinese, German, Spanish, etc. Those are not African languages. They are outside languages. They are not such language called. There's no such land called Africana land, or Africana kingdom, or Arabic kingdom in Africa. So that is those are some exceptions. Now, if who is African or descendant of people who are stolen from Africa? Where is very, very huge people or population. They can be found in U.S., Dominican Republic, Brazil, some part of Europe, Southeast Asia, West Papua, and so on. Without forgetting like Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia. Is so many countries that hold many of people who were stolen from Africa. And African of immigrants is just one rule, that if you have your parents both are immigrants from Africa, it does not matter how far ago you are African, you are automatically African. If you have one of your parents, let's say your mom or your daddy is immigrant from Africa, you are automatically African. If you have one of your grandparents that was African or is immigrant of Africa, you are automatically African. Now, if once we finish this, we can talk about how in world is Zimbabwe paying money to the people of, or those white people come to Africa to steal from Africa, and now they are getting paid. Man, I don't even understand how that can be. But I'm still trying to figure out who does that. Who in the world does something like that? You know, because these people, they come to Africa to actually steal from us, not to help or to not to own anything. They should not be given anything at all. And people who've been complaining that those people are African, they are not. Definitely, they are not African. We have, of course, we have people. I saw this, actually, it's gonna show you guys. When the Indians who came to Africa, I don't know which centuries, which they are too many of them in eastern of Africa. When they leave Africa, they come to America. Do you think they will put the African anymore? No, they don't put the African anymore. They are African only when they are in Africa. Not that only, even white people too. Those who are claiming that they're Africans, which we know they're not. So when they leave Africa, they come to America or other places. They are not African anymore. They just become Caucasian, which is what they are anyway. So that is the introduction of who is an African. Now, if there is any question, please don't hesitate to find me on our Facebook and YouTube at hashtag Swahili for Africa, Africa with K, and also Instagram is Swahili for Africa with K as well. And I think that does conclude my presentation about who is an African, because we're not gonna unite Africa unless we know who is an African. And so many people are trying to steal our identity. Okay, when it comes to the problem, they don't want to share with us the problems, the struggle. They don't want to share with us, but they just want to jump in the air and act like they are Africans. They are not. Okay, you cannot be African if you come to Africa to colonize us or to conquer us or to oppress us, and now you are claiming to be African. That is not gonna happen on my watch. Not even my watch, even our generation watch. Those who come to colonize us, they need to go back to where they came from, and those who came to steal from us, they need to go back where they came from. We don't share same identity. They are not African. They will never be. And for those who are African, from African diaspora, maybe your parents were stolen from Africa, or somehow you end up to be outside of Africa and you never been to Africa, and you don't even think you will ever go there, and your parents never go there. Still, you are African, because the struggle is the same. One day I was in India, and they look at me and they call me Nigerian. And I was like, okay. So you can't really refuse, because in India, when they see anyone who's black, not just India, actually even Bangladesh, when they see someone who's black, they just call you Nigerian. Okay, forget any other thing. They just know Nigerians in India. And it does not matter if you are born in Jamaica, if you are born in the US, as long as you are black, you are just a Nigerian. Yeah, so we all are same family with different, maybe born in different places. Our identity is not based on where you are born. That is the idea of European. Okay, we never give identity, or we never become who we are because of where we are born. Americans, they are the one who does that, because they stole someone's country and they want to put people there. So if you are born here, now you become American. But we in Africa, it can even take 5 generations, you still not African. It can even take 20 generations. It's not based on where you are born. If you cannot find your tribe language, if you cannot find your tribe last name, if you cannot find your tribe land, if you cannot find your tribe traditional in the place, you're not from there. You're not from there at all. We don't have that. Again, thank you so much for giving me your time. My name is Yohani Paulo Imane, and join us every Saturday. We are live in air. We have different topics to discuss about Africa and African diaspora from all over the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yohani Paulo Imane. Have a nice one.